So about to go in and meet contestant number 3. And I thought to myself, what's a great place to go on a date with a book? And a library, of course, obviously. So I came to one of our prettiest libraries in the area to sit, meet the contestant, and to see what I think about this book. Let me give you my first impressions. Okay, nothing stands out yet. It does look a little bit shorter than the other 10%, but I don't see any names that I'm like, oh, I recognize that name or anything like that. And it's not super dialogue heavy, so we'll see what this story is about and what kind of book it is once I head inside and start reading. Okay, so I finished my date with contestant number 6, and we had a good time. I will say that I'm sorry I didn't give any updates along the way. However, it's a very small library, and it was quiet in there. And so if I had pulled out my phone and started talking to myself, it would have been a little awkward, or maybe a lot awkward. So I'd like to give you some of those updates now. After the fact. So let's see if I can do this. At the very beginning of this book, I was reading it and I was like, I recognize this. I recognize this storyline so far. At least there were elements of it that were very clear, I've heard this somewhere. I know something about this. And I realized that my mom's synopsis that she gave this book and the review she gave it were ringing in my head. So I remembered it because of my mom talking about this book, which means, Mom, I do listen sometimes. Anyways, I then of course knew what book it was, and I also know that Mom and Shell both absolutely loved this book, and I know why Shell picked it for me, because I have been enjoying monster romances lately, and this is a little more action. It definitely has a bit more action. I know what the genre generally is, so let me tell you about it so far, because I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I'll give Shell that opportunity. So this is a dystopian story where there are monsters that have come to be in the world. I don't know how they came about, but there are monsters, and they do kill a lot of people. But a bigger part of the problem has been humans trying to kill off all these monsters, and they have caused a big disruption in the United States. And between the monsters and the people trying to kill them, they have wiped out large portions of the country, or at least made those portions of the country unsafe. So a lot of people are living in these really cramped communities along the ocean. They don't have a lot of resources. There's a lot of poverty. People are not doing well. But to escape living in these cities, these horrible cities, you can become part of the military, which our character did. He is not really liking what the military is doing with all these monsters. He feels like there's a level to it that's unjust, but he's there. He's doing his job. So the point of the story we have come into, these soldiers are being placed in the path of this monster that they want to capture. The commanders, or the people who are higher up, want to capture. So they place all their grunt soldiers in the path of this monster so that these people and their lives can distract the monster long enough for the elite division, the upper division, to capture the monster. So basically they put these people in the path to be slaughtered, and our soldier is one of the people who is meant to be slaughtered. But somehow our soldier is the one soldier who survives, and the monster doesn't kill the soldier. So the elite division does capture the monster, and the whole time the monster is in his prison cell, they try to get information from him, but he won't give any information. He keeps asking for the soldier who survived. So he wants to talk to our soldier, the soldier we're following, who is our main character. And so, of course, since they want information from this monster, they pull in our main character to interrogate or talk one-on-one with the monster. And that's basically where the story is going at this point. He's very limited in what he's allowed to ask the monster or talk to the monster or tell the monster. He's not supposed to give him any personal information. And the monster keeps wanting to know more about the soldier and trying to ask questions in a way to get around these limitations, where our soldier is supposed to be asking the monster all these questions that have been given to him by his commanding officer. It's been a pretty quick read so far. I got through that first 10% very quickly, and the writing is very accessible, so I'm enjoying that. I am enjoying getting to know this monster a little bit more. At least there's an intrigue there. I feel very intrigued. And it ends at a very good spot. So I was like, dang it, I want to know more. And that is clever of Shhhhh again, because she had told me that she was going for 10%, but if there was a spot where she could end it, where it would leave like a cliffhanger or somewhere where I would really want to move forward with the book, then she was going to do that. And she certainly is, because this was like, we just are starting to get somewhere very interesting. Not saying it wasn't interesting before this, but you know, like the interaction between the soldier and the monster was just starting to get a little more exciting, and all of a sudden it's over. So like, that definitely leaves me with a like, but what happens next? kind of feeling. So I really liked this particular contestant. I can tell that this would be a fun read, and I'm a fan of monster romances, as we know now. And if it is a romance, it means it's male-male, which would be great for this month because it's Pride Month. So that's something. That's something to think about. It's definitely a possibility. I think all these books are a possibility at this point. This is terrible. Why did I do this? I know I keep saying that, but the reality is becoming more and more clear. This is going to be so hard. So did you figure out what number 6 was? Because I figured it out really early on, but that's only because of Mom and Shhhhh reading it recently and talking about it. I'm very excited about this one, and I would love to hear what Shhhhll has to say as to why she picked it for me. So let's go over to our bookish matchmaker.
For this date, I decided to throw in a wild card. Contestant number 6 is dark and romantic. Soul Eater by Lily Mayne. I chose this as a match for you because I don't think that this is a book that you would think to pick up on your own. It's a male-male monster romance series. So similar to the Prime Mating Agency series, I don't think that you would pick this up on your own. But if you are forced to read it for any reason, I think you'd find yourself enjoying it more than you expected. This is set in a post-apocalyptic world, and you like dystopian books. And monsters have come in through a gap into the world that we know. This is set years after that event. But essentially, the military, doing what they do when faced with crazy monsters, decided that the best thing to do would be to kill them all. Well, these monsters fought back, and you end up with most of the country kind of controlled by the monsters, and humans kind of shuffled to the outskirts in slum-like cities trying to be protected by the military, who was in this ongoing war with monsters who most want to just be left alone, although some are deadly. And in this world, you end up with monster-human pairings. I think that if you're forced to give this book a chance, that you might find yourself enjoying it just as much as the other series that you enjoy. And yes, there is monster smut, but not in the first 10%, so we'll see what you think. Good luck.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens when I meet contestant number 7. I am getting through these contestants. I'm really getting to know them, and I'm so excited about this batch of books that I'm getting to know better. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.